Cooking is really at its best when it's shared.
Wow.
So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right, isn't it?
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it.
I love a good wedding. It's one of those times when food really takes the centre stage. After the bride, of course.
I'm so honoured to have been invited behind the scenes of this wedding. It's a chance to see how they're going to share the day through 3 extraordinary meals.
I remember my wedding day as if it was yesterday, but I can assure you it wasn't. It was just a simple affair, but it was simply lovely.
My husband Paul and I have been married for 56 years.
You were very slim and elegant in those days, weren't
Was
you?
I cheeky?
I still cherish that day because we've had a long and happy marriage.
You look very smart.
very
Bit
good.
more hair in those days.
The cake was very smart too. A rich fruit cake that I made myself. I can't wait to see what delicious food the bride and groom will be sharing with their guests. My first recipe would make a wonderful addition to any special occasion. Its 3 fabulous layers are so easy to make, perfect for serving to a big crowd.
Such a lovely thing to share. And it's got a bit of style.
I'm starting with the bottom layer, cooked and diced beetroot with a balsamic glaze.
That just gives it flavour. Makes it nice and shiny too. And a little bit of pepper and salt in that. That's it, all done.
The second layer is delicious ripe avocado.
Add the juice of half a lemon. Not only does that give it flavour, it also stops it going brown. In goes some chopped fresh dill.
A little salt and pepper will enhance its subtle flavour.
Then I'm going to mash some of it, because it holds together better, and then leave some in chunks.
Oh, it's so good. I could eat this all on its own.
That's done.
The crowning glory of this recipe are the cooked prawns. I have the ultimate way to dress them up for the occasion.
I'm going to have a tablespoonful of mayonnaise, tablespoonful of creme fraiche, and a tablespoonful of creamed horseradish.
Because any excess water will dilute the creamy sauce, I've drained the prawns really well.
See, a dry bowl. The combination of creme fraiche, horseradish and mayo is a natural marriage. They go so well together, and not too much effort either.
I'm not done yet. De-seed and dice some peeled cucumber to cut through the rich dressing.
The great thing about the cucumber is it gives it crunch.
Assembling the layers so they'll look perfect is simple.
So first of all, the beetroot.
Resting the rings on non-stick paper will make them easy to serve later.
Press them down lightly. If you don't press them down, you won't get these 3 layers, which look so smart. The contrast of the green and the beetroot colour go really well.
Don't forget to push it gently to the sides before the final layer, those lovely dressed prawns.
I think this is more exciting than a prawn cocktail, which is still a great favourite in most households. Now, I know what you're thinking. You haven't got the rings. You could do it in a glass or arrange it on a plate in 3 different piles, a different presentation.
Give them at least 30 minutes in the fridge and they'll slide onto the serving plate with no problem at all.
Lift it up, pop it on like that, and then you can put the dill on the top like that, and then just before serving, you just lift it off. I can assure you, I need no encouragement to taste this. This is right up my street. Doesn't that look tempting? Delicious. If I could choose what to start a meal with, I think right now it would certainly be this.
Layered horseradish prawns, rich avocado, and balsamic beetroot. An ideal first course to share for any special occasion, or if you just want to treat yourself. Each year, nearly 300,000 couples like this one get married. The food they choose to share is pivotal to making the day one to remember.
And I can't wait to see how it all comes together.
It's 8:30 in the morning. Bride-to-be Kajol and her 500 guests are waiting for groom Nirav to arrive. Whilst they do, the first meal of the day is being served, a full-blown breakfast.
How do you begin to prepare for something of this size?
So we start around about 3:30 in the morning, actually. So it's a mix of very impeccable timing and just make sure any surprise was taken care of. The experience is very, very important.
The families have asked for vegetarian samosas and pakoras, along with traditional Indian desserts, shakapara and coconut pista burfi.
All very sweet.
The Asians love their sweet stuff, so this would be probably the most popular one today.
And of course, they're nice little portions.
Nice little portions, but you'll probably see the plates will always be full up as well.
Everyone is tucking in, but the bride hasn't had anything to eat yet. Although, goodness knows whether she'll want to. I certainly couldn't on the morning of my wedding.
Would you like to do the honours?
Kajol, how deliciously gorgeous you look. You've taken the wind from my sails. I brought you breakfast. Are you hungry?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a very exciting day for you. How are you feeling?
I mean, I can eat like a tiny bit and then I get full really quickly because all the nerves are building up. And I don't want to eat too much. I don't want to be bloated.
Yes, I can remember on my wedding. I remember on the morning walking in with my cake and decorating it with fresh flowers and being very excited. You look truly magnificent, but how long has all this taken?
I started at 7 o'clock in the morning, so a good few hours. But all the preparation of my henna and everything, that took like 5.5 hours to do.
I can just imagine when you go down those stairs now, I think they'll begin to cry. You look so wonderful. I hope the day goes well for you.
Thank you, Mary.
What a magical day this is. No matter how big or small a wedding is, sharing the best food is all that matters. My next 2 recipes will thrill any guest gathered to celebrate. I'll start by making the spiced chicken.
Everything all in together with a lovely spicy sauce, really, really tasty, perfect for a crowd. First of all, I'm going to make the marinade, and it's all the sort of things that you've either got in the fridge or you've got in the cupboard, so quite easy.
Lemon juice, garlic, soy, ginger, and piquant peppers with mango chutney for sweetness, and 5 spice for a mild kick. This really is the perfect marinade for almost any meat dish.
I've got here some chicken thighs. Add this lovely spicy marinade. Will make them taste really good.
Once coated, let the thighs soak up the flavoursome marinade for 2 hours or so.
Cover it. I don't want the whole fridge smelling of these spices. That's it. So here we go.
When it comes to cooking, it couldn't be easier, as everything roasts together in one tin.
First of all, fennel. So I'm going to put that straight in.
Blanched in boiling water for 5 minutes. It'll be so tender when roasted.
And then some red peppers, I've seeded them. Put those out like that. Again, spread it fairly evenly. And then sweet potatoes, and they roast really well. They don't get as crisp as potatoes, but I think they're very good.
Finally, season and add the star of the dish, those fragrant, spicy thighs. Arrange them amongst the veg so that all those flavours come together.
Right, I'm not going to waste any of this lovely marinade. Just spoon it in, fill in any little gaps there are there.
That goes into the oven, 200 degrees fan, for about 25 minutes. Whilst the chicken will definitely turn heads, they'll be clambering for the bread that's served with it.
My tear and share bread with all those herbs is great to have on a buffet at a wedding, or indeed to share with friends.
I've already made a simple yeast bread dough and left it to proof for about 2 hours.
That's it.
Now for the fun bit.
Just knead that like that. That's called knocking back. So spread that out to start with. Beautifully elastic.
Ready for the exciting mix of herbs.
Rosemary, first of all, finely chopped. Then chives, fresh basil, and lastly, thyme. And funnily enough, it is the thyme that comes through as the strongest herb flavour.
And the perfect partner, some mature cheddar cheese.
Just spread that over and knead it in. I want a really good cheesy flavour. Just go on working this until it's all incorporated really well. And if any little bits of cheese or herbs stray, bring them back in and knead them in. Pummel it hard, work at it until it's all included.
To make the individual rolls, divide carefully into 32 pieces.
It's a lovely dough, nice and sticky. It's like scones. It should be on the moist side.
Time to get busy.
If you're in a bakery and they're making these, they do them with 2 hands, but I was never good at doing whatever you do different ways like this. So I'll just use 1 hand. There we are, we're getting there.
32 dough balls later, and I can begin to build.
Best to start from the middle and then work it round, so it looks just like a little flower. And you just press it in like that. In the first round, it'll take about 5.
Continue placing them, building up the rings as you go.
Now we've got a bigger flower, and then the others go all the way around the outside. They're dear little things, aren't they?
Beautifully arranged, the tear and share just needs about half an hour to prove. Once ready, a beaten egg will give it that golden colour after 25 to 30 minutes in a 200-degree fan oven. Meanwhile, my chicken's had its 25 minutes, so I can drain off the rich roasting juices. Then pop it back to crisp for another 10 minutes. Thicken with a little corn flour and the juices will make a succulent gravy.
I must say that I'm quite keen on a sauce or gravy, and I'm certainly married to a gravy man.
Now to bring it all together.
The smell wafting from here, brilliant. And just as I had anticipated, it's got that lovely golden brown.
The tear and share is ready too.
I think that looks absolutely great. Always serve it warm because it's so much better. And it's beautifully soft. Let's have a look. Oh, home-baked bread. Nothing better. Oh, and the top is beautifully crunchy. The fresh herbs are coming through. Yes, I think I would like a dollop of butter on there, but oh so good.
My one tray spicy roast, succulent, crisp and packed full of flavour.
That really is devastatingly good.
No matter who you're sharing this with, my chicken and bread will make it truly memorable. Back at the wedding, the wait is over. Groom Nirav is on his way, and I've joined bride Kajul's family to watch the grand entrance.
Amazing.
There's the groom on a horse.
The Bharat is a joyous procession, symbolising the long journey the groom and his guests would make to join the bride's family.
They look very happy.
They do. This is a very big moment for everybody, so. And this is where now you'll see there's going to be a dance-off, and they're going to be literally, the groom's family are going to be dancing,
Yes.
and then they're going to come to a stage where they stop, and then they're going to greet each other.
Do you know, Bhave, it's really like a movie set.
It really is. I mean, Indian weddings are so grand. They're so vibrant, so colourful, and this is what it's about. Look at everyone. You know, they're cheering, they're celebrating.
With the dancing over, gifts are exchanged to celebrate the joining of two families. The wedding ceremony is about to start. Then, just like my wedding, an afternoon tea will follow, though a little bit grander than mine was. The couple have chosen sandwiches and scones with a wonderful addition that I'm going to help make. Vegetarian Kathi Rolls, a Bengali street food stuffed with grilled paneer and spiced yoghurt.
Can I have a go myself?
Absolutely.
Do you trust me?
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem. Yeah, I should.
There's a lot at stake, and I want to impress Chef Dev.
I take one of these,
Yeah,
and then
And a bit of the tandoori grilled paneer.
looks good.
yeah,
It's like in a Swiss roll, really, because
Yeah.
Swiss roll, you start at one end.
yeah.
Am I being a bit too generous? Never mind.
And put the tomato a little bit.
Do I have to cut this, cut it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Not too much, not too much.
No, not too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I
You're
roll
folding,
this.
yeah, roll, yeah.
I'm rolling it as tightly
Yeah,
as I can.
tightly, yeah, yeah, that's it.
A little trim to tidy up,
Put this
Yeah.
over the top,
Yeah, over
and
top.
then I start by dividing.
Yeah,
So that one will go halfway along.
yes, very good.
Very good. Am I top,
Good,
of, the,
good
am I
job,
top of the
good.
class?
Yeah, you are a head chef.
No, I'm a sous chef.
Sous chef.
In this occasion, I'm certainly a sous chef. So how many of these are you going to make?
So we're going to make over 400 of these, just to
Really?
be on the safe side.
How about that then?
Very nice, professional. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kajul and Nirav are married. I'm so delighted for them, and I want to make them a special something for their day.
They are great for a special occasion and wonderful for sharing. Rather rich, but I'm making very small pots. First of all, double pouring cream, and it goes into the pan.
150 ml will do the job.
That's it. And now 2 tablespoons of brandy. Oh, there's plenty for a little cheering sip at the bottom. I wouldn't dare. It's great to be here. Look at that backdrop and the sunshine. I'm the lucky one.
Melt 200 grams of plain chocolate in the cream.
Simple and luxurious. This is just the right consistency and just running off the spatula.
Now pour it into 250 grams of soft mascarpone.
And just get that nice and smooth. So it's a pale chocolatey colour. If you do it too quickly, it'll be a bit lumpy, but this is just perfect. Right, that's beautifully smooth, and the whole lot can go in now. There it is. Look at it.
Give it one final stir to blend the chocolate and cream together.
Right, that's all done. I think the wedding guests are going to love this. It's rich, special, and just perfect to end their meal.
Divide it into shot glasses. You should have enough to make 12 rich chocolate treats.
Conveniently, I've left just a little in the bottom there for me to taste. That's pretty good. And just 2 tablespoons of brandy is enough. Don't slop in any more because it won't make it any better.
Don't they look beautiful? Simply pop them in the fridge for about 3 hours and serve chilled, topped with crystallized edible flowers and white chocolate curls. The high tea is going down a treat with all their guests, and I hope Nirav and Kajul love what I've made for them.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Singh.
Thank you so much.
A little bit hungry?
Very hungry.
Starving.
Have you got a spare hand?
Let me take one for Kajul.
Oh, grab a spoon.
Little tiny spoons there.
I'm gonna have to remove my little nose ring.
Just something lovely and sweet to finish with.
It is, they're really nice.
I love the chocolateness, but it's not too overpowering or overwhelming. It's just right.
You be careful you don't get it on your white trousers.
I'm trying my utmost.
Has today been everything that you expected it would be?
Well, definitely I've ended up with this beautiful wife, so it's been brilliant.
One of the most celebrated parts of my wedding was the cake. This indulgent chocolate truffle dessert cake is a real showstopper.
First of all, I'm going to make the 2 sponges. I have 5 egg yolks in here. Adding an extra egg at this stage helps to give volume.
Add 75 grams of caster sugar and whisk until the mixture thickens to a lighter colour.
That looks just about right. You see, it's holding its shape a little.
There's no flour in these sponges. Instead, I'm using 150 grams of ground almonds. Followed by 180 grams of melted plain chocolate.
Every scrap of chocolate going in there. At this stage, the consistency is stiff. There it is, stiff, but all one colour, and the chocolate is well incorporated.
5 whisked egg whites will make the sponges light as a feather.
To begin with, I'm just going to slacken it down with that. Now I'm going to add the rest of the egg white and gently fold that in so that the egg white can be the raising agent.
Simply divide the mixture between 2 greased and lined 20-centimetre tins.
A little bit more to come out. Just make sure I don't waste any of it.
They'll need 30 minutes in the oven, 180 degrees fan.
And now I'm going to make my sensational truffle mousse filling.
Whiz up 180 grams of plain chocolate until it's finely chopped, almost like a powder.
That's it.
Add 150 ml of sugar syrup. Simply sugar dissolved in boiling water.
And while it's still hot, add the egg yolks.
Because this is a treat, a tablespoonful of brandy or rum.
Then quickly whiz it together.
The heat of the syrup will cook the egg yolks.
That's just perfect. This will now make a lovely chocolate mousse. All I've got to do is add the whipped cream. So I'm going to put a little in just to start with. That'll just slacken it down a bit. That's it. And then the rest in one go. Just fold it in fairly gently. If you're careful, it keeps the air in. Look at that. Perfectly smooth, rich, creamy, chocolatey, hint of brandy.
Right, the sponges have cooled and I've lined a deep 20cm tin. It's time to layer up.
Turn it over like that and just slip it in and then press it down quite firmly so that it touches the edges and none of this drips down the side. Now on goes this truffle mousse. Pour it in. Looks like velvet. And then on goes the top. Just slip that in carefully. Down it goes. Quite a tricky procedure, but it does make it look very professional.
A light dusting of cocoa powder, but I'm not done yet.
The mousse needs to set in the refrigerator minimum 6 hours or overnight before we serve it.
Time for the big reveal.
Now this really is exciting and I'm seeking perfection, as you know, for a very special occasion. There it is. And you should see the beautiful filling around the outside. And gosh, there's a lot of filling and a little bit of that lovely cake.
All that's needed are a few whipped cream rosettes around the edge. And for the pièce de résistance, some luxurious shop-bought truffle pieces.
Well, I'm pretty proud of that. I think it looks amazing. And in our house, chocolate is top favourite. My husband absolutely loves it. And funnily enough, he doesn't listen to everything I say, but I've only got to say chocolate, and he lights up.
Let's see if it looks as good inside.
Going through like butter. Wow. How's that for a slice? I'm not going to drop it. It is generous with truffle mousse and that beautiful moist sponge. Let's put it on the plate and see. Is it the mousse that I like best? Is it the cake? I like the lot. Absolutely delicious. That would be the star of any occasion.
It's almost sunset and the party continues with the final meal of the day. Huge sharing platters of barbecue meats and curries.
What a brilliant day and such a lovely couple. I'm off to share the evening with them, so cheers. Oh, that looks very good. Yes, thank you.
Next time, I'm in Bristol.
Look at that.
You've given me a sharing feast.
Sharing dishes
I think that looks very special.
and new experiences.
Thank you.
Cooking is really at its best when it's shared.
Wow.
So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right.
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it. beautiful, creative city of Bristol holds so many precious memories for me.
I had my very first job in the centre of the city at the electricity board. I caught the 33 bus from Bath, a double-decker, and there I was half an hour later in Bristol.
Decades later, my son William studied at Bristol University, and now my lovely granddaughter Grace does too.
What draws me to this city are special memories.
And I'm always open to making some new ones. So I'm up with the sun to make the most of what Bristol has to offer.
I love seeing the beautiful balloons that fly over Bristol, so colourful. And very soon I'm going to meet the people that fly them.
Known as the UK's hot air ballooning capital, each year the city hosts an annual balloon fiesta, attracting thousands of enthusiasts. Flights take off throughout the year, and I'm about to watch one of them.
Hello! It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clive Bailey and his wife Jo
Beautiful morning. It's absolutely lovely.
have been flying these awe-inspiring balloons for almost 30 years.
So I'm gonna take you inside. Just watch this wire here.
Okay. It's a bit like a rainbow. It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it? When you see that beautiful, colourful balloon in the sky, it doesn't look that big. Yes, but it's massive.
300,000 cubic feet, this one.
And then you condense it down and put it on in your...
In a bag about that big.
Is that difficult?
I think you'll be right.
Yeah, a bit of muscle, yeah.
I prefer to keep my feet on solid ground. But look at the joy on the faces of those excited passengers.
Goodbye. Enjoy.
See you tomorrow.
Do you know, it is so peaceful and magical. And the blue sky behind, it's a perfect day.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we're so honoured to be able to share our passion with other people. And everybody in there be like, wow. We've had people cry all sorts, haven't we?
And there's no feeling of movement when you're in the basket. You close your eyes and you would not know you're moving. It's amazing.
Well, we've had a very early start. How about I make you brunch? Because I, for one, am starving.
That would be
That sounds
marvellous.
wonderful to me.
Thank you, yes. We'll accept.
I know exactly what to cook. My new favourite brunch recipe, Shakshuka. Originally from North Africa and the Middle East, it's a dish made for sharing.
I can think of no better place than I would rather be. Glorious sunshine, great view. So first of all, a couple of tablespoonfuls of oil in the pan. That's it. Then 2 onions, finely chopped. And here, if you haven't time to do them finely, it'll just take a little bit longer to cook. And give that a good stir.
A couple of cloves of garlic and 1 red chilli gives this dish its punch. Add more if you like it hot.
I love the sizzle and the smell. Wonderful. You can scale this recipe up or down, but you do need quite a big pan to start with.
Now for a heaped tablespoon of tomato paste and 2 cans of chopped tomato.
Now all I've got to do is add a little sugar. Always just gives a lift to the tomato. Scant teaspoon. Look at that. Gentle bubble, and it's beginning to reduce. If you're cooking tomatoes, you need a shirt like this so the splashes don't show. I've had this one since the 70s. It's one of my favourite, and it's perfect for this occasion.
Now for the clever bit. I'm making 4 small indents in the rich sauce for the eggs, but I could create more for a bigger crowd.
That's it. The smell is very tempting, so lid on, and that will steam the top of the eggs. Meanwhile, I want some parsley just to put all over the top there. That's it. Now I'm just going to have a look and see how this is doing. I want the top to be opaque. I think we're done.
That looks so inviting. And will taste even better with some garlic flatbreads to dip into it.
Little did I know all those years ago when I was coming to Bristol on the 33 bus that one day I would be cooking this in front of the suspension bridge. Clive, Joe, come on, help yourselves. Girls first, come on, there you are.
Looks delicious.
Here's a plate, a little bit of flatbread with it. Help yourself.
This is absolutely delicious. It tastes so fresh.
It's just got the right tang for me. It's perfect. The bread is absolutely delicious, Clive. You need to have some. It's really lovely.
And it's good if you're sharing it with a number. I mean, you have 14 in your balloon. To make it for 14 is quite easy.
I'm so pleased that Clive and Joe enjoyed that. If you want to make my crisp, buttery flatbreads, it couldn't be easier. Just mix 175 grams of self-raising flour with half a teaspoon of sea salt, 1 egg, and 70 ml of milk.
This really is a very simple introduction to bread if you've never made it before.
Time to get my hands messy to form the dough.
Flour underneath, and then just knead that till it's completely without lumps.
The flatbreads will be wonderfully crisp if you roll it out as thinly as possible. But it's the rich garlic topping that makes this bread a winner. 75 grams of softened butter, very soft, so not to pull the dough about. 4 cloves of crushed garlic, 2 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley, and a little salt and pepper. And just slather it on.
It's nice seeing all that parsley coming through, isn't it?
All that's needed is a layer of grated cheese. I'm using Parmesan, which is best, but use whatever you like.
The secret for a crisp base for my flatbread is to have a baking tray in the oven, nice solid one, getting very hot.
This will only take 12 minutes in the oven, 200 fan.
So, not only does it look good, the smell of that garlic and herbs are lovely. Very good with a glass of wine. Do you know, that tastes incredible.
I'm not the only one enticed by Bristol. This vibrant city lures creative entrepreneurs from all over the world, many drawn to its thriving food scene here at the harbour side.
OK, service, please.
Welsh-born Larkin Sen is one of a new breed of chefs.
Looks lovely, Freddie.
Helping to build the city's stellar food reputation.
Welcome to Wapping Wolf.
I've known Bristol over the years, but this is something totally new to me. Are these ship's containers?
They are 100% converted shipping container restaurants for young, aspiring business owners like me.
They're quite compact, so you have to be very tidy and organised, don't you?
Yeah, and very small, like me.
It's wonderful to see how food has helped transform this harbour from the one I remember.
What sort of food do you specialise in yourself?
So Wakiko specialises in authentic Asian food. That's very high in flavour, and we kind of like embrace sharing in terms of all of our dishes.
It's a lovely spot by the water and the perfect way to bring people together.
Oh, gosh.
Mary, these are some fantastic dishes. I'm really proud of this one. These are locally grown Somerset shiitake mushrooms. I'm finished with a bit of garlic soy. This is our buttermilk marinated Korean fried chicken, cooked to order, really crispy and a little bit spicy as well.
I must say, I also like the look of the pork belly steamed buns.
So beautifully tender.
So in the summer, what I find here is that people order many, many dishes, they share, they have a great time, and they have a great view of the river.
Well, you've given me a sharing feast. Who taught you to cook?
I grew up in a Chinese takeaway, but I qualified as a lawyer, but I came back to my roots, I guess, because I really wanted to cook.
What a pleasure to meet a fellow cook whose food is designed for sharing. I have a wonderful recipe full of Southeast Asian flavours that would fit in beautifully on Bristol's harbour side.
Prawn stir-fry with coconut, chilli and ginger. Quick to make and something really, really special, a proper treat. The sauce really is the key to this recipe. It's what gives the prawns that intense flavour, and the ginger really comes through with the garlic.
Take a decent-sized jug and mix 2 teaspoons of corn flour with a can of coconut cream.
And I didn't get it on my shirt. That was lucky, wasn't it? There we are. Nobody'll know.
Now for those fragrant flavours. Grated ginger, a crushed garlic, for some zing, the zest and juice of half a lime, a tablespoon of sweet chilli sauce, and a little fish sauce, very important.
Fish sauce is quite strong, so you only want a teaspoon. There it is. So that's it, the sauce is made. You can make it a few hours ahead, just leave it in the fridge, and when you want to add it to the prawns, just give it a good stir, because the corn flour will have gone to the bottom.
I have 600 grams of raw, shelled and deveined prawns, lots to go round.
And I'm going to cook them fast, stir-fry. Yes, it's hot, I want it to be hot. In goes the prawns. And then I'm going to move it about the pan until they all turn pink, and they're starting to do that already. Lovely smell. Sort of salty. Now those have all turned pink. I'm not going to cook them for a moment longer. So tip that onto a plate, and the juices, if there are any. Now, if I'd cooked those slowly, there would be a lot of wet in the bottom of the pan. And as you can see, it's just a little bit of butter that's there, and they look just perfect.
To carry the rich flavour of the sauce, there's nothing better than courgette ribbons.
If you have got any young that want to help, I'll always give them this job, and they really like to do it. There we are, a little oil in the pan, tip those in. Now you see that looks an awful lot, but it goes down to be a little bit less than that.
Add a little kick with a small red chilli, or more if you like it hot.
So move that about the pan. I've got the pan very hot. And that's well on the way.
Finally, a couple of handfuls of baby spinach.
Gently turn it over. It's this wonderful, vibrant, bright green colour. And that's just about it. Don't overcook it. Now I've got the sauce, just pour that in and bring it to the boil.
It will thicken in no time, Then the prawns can go back in.
Wow, lovely smell. That literally took a few moments to make, and doesn't it look good?
Season and dive in.
Lovely. All in one go. Those prawns are as tender as they possibly could be.
Good luck with sharing this one. Bristol never fails to impress, from the stunning engineering feats and the energy of its famous harbour to sailing the skies above. But it's street art that is at the city's forefront. As the birthplace of artist Banksy, his legacy is everywhere. Graffiti by other artists even adorns some of its top restaurants.
This Michelin star restaurant is so inspired by the city, you can see it in everything they do. They've promised that I'm going to have another first-time experience, and I don't think it's going to be just about the food.
Here at Casimir, they do things a little differently than I'm used to.
Hello, you must be Joe.
I am indeed.
Restaurant manager Joe is also the artist who creates new pieces for their walls each week. I think he has something in store for me.
We've put together a design for you. You're going to help me finish the cherry, and we're going to get you tagging the Bakewell tart.
What's to tag?
Sign your name.
This is certainly outside my comfort zone. I just hope Joe is a good teacher.
That's the base.
This is the base, exactly that.
No soggy bottoms down there.
No soggy bottoms, we won't have that.
Wow, that's the cherry.
That's the cherry. OK, I think we're ready for you to come and finish this. What do you think?
Right, I'll come with my mask.
OK, come with then.
It's very frightening, I can tell
Don't
you.
be scared. Don't be scared.
OK.
It's fine.
It's not my forte, you know.
No, but whatever you do will be right. Straight down that way. Look at that. Beautiful.
That wasn't too hard. Now for my very first tag.
Here goes.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Keep it close. Close and consistent.
Well, I don't think it's perfect. It is my first try.
And it's you. I think it's perfect. I'm really happy with that.
That was a lot of fun, but I'll stick to the day job. The restaurant is closed today, but Chefs Zach and Summer have whipped up something especially for me.
Wow.
So, Mary, what we've got here then, this is a little piece of our trout. It's been lightly smoked. There's some wasabi on there, which comes from Hampshire. There's a nice little bit of crispy seaweed. And it's best to be enjoyed in one mouthful.
Well, this is most enterprising. Lucky Bristolians.
Cheers.
What do you think? Is that wasabi?
Be patient. I get this freshness.
Yeah.
And it is just so beautiful. It combines well. Absolutely lovely.
The restaurant serves a 21-course tasting menu, but I'm moving straight to dessert. A crisp blueberry pie with smoked ice cream. Very interesting.
This has been a truly wonderful experience. I've seen a new side of Bristol, and I love it.
Thank you for coming, and for that.
Well, I'm not so proud of that, but yours is a masterpiece.
I've shared so many new experiences today, but sometimes I yearn for the comfort of a classic. And this dish is just that.
Tuscan chicken, a true family favourite, because I can do it ahead, it's all in one pot, less washing up, and it tastes amazing. In the bowl, I've got 6 chicken thighs. They're quite big ones. The bones in, I find that that gives the best flavour.
2 tablespoons of plain flour and 2 teaspoons of paprika will give these skinless chicken thighs a delicious flavour.
So as you can see, the paprika adds to the colour. So ready to fry. I'm just going to wash my hands.
Now for a good glug of oil in a hot pan.
So in to brown the meat on both sides first. It is nice and hot. Get that nice and brown. Both sides. So that paprika assists in the browning. The second side is always quicker than the first.
Out with the chicken, a splash more oil, and in goes a finely chopped onion and a chopped red pepper. More flavour, more colour.
Lovely smell coming up here. Keep it moving.
Throw in 2 crushed cloves of garlic,
2 teaspoons of tomato puree. 1, 2, that's it. About 30 grams of sun-dried tomatoes chopped up a bit.
in with 150 ml of white wine and chicken stock, and let that bubble away.
Look at that colour, so inviting. Then I'm going to add the chicken back in there.
And if there's any leftover seasoning from the chicken, throw that in too. Pop the lid on and simmer gently for 30 minutes. Simple and delicious. This really is the perfect sharing dish.
Here goes. Oh, that looks a bit all right.
Now to enrich and thicken with 150 ml of double pouring cream.
Don't use anything low fat, because if you do and you bring it to the boil, it could well separate, which this won't.
For a splash of colour, throw in 150 grams of baby spinach.
Looks as though it'll never get down, but it will as soon as it touches the heat. I think that looks very special. The chicken is a perfect tempting colour. The sauce is rich and creamy, and look at the consistency, it's just right. It's all right. In fact, it's very, very good.
A final sprinkle of parmesan and it will be ready to serve. It's been wonderful making new memories in a city I know so well, but there's something important I want to do before I leave.
Whenever I'm in Bristol, there is one special place that I always visit.
Our son William was a student here, but he passed away in 1989. A plaque was laid in the university grounds in his memory. And I always come here to reflect on the treasured family times we all had together.
There you are, Will.
I have one final recipe to share that Will would have loved, and all my children and grandchildren absolutely adore.
And now a really lovely family pudding that is quick to make. It's pear and blueberry galette.
First things first, the light sponge base.
A couple of eggs. Then I'm going to add the butter. Now it's really warm and I'm going to add that, and you can see that it's absolutely soft, and this is important because it'll go in quite easily.
75 grams of caster sugar, 150 grams of self-raising flour, a level teaspoon of baking powder and vanilla extract, and that's it.
Then I'm going to give that a good beat.
Start off slowly, then go for it until the mix is a pale colour.
That only took a few moments, and let's free the beaters. I've got past the licking cake mixture, but there's usually someone in the kitchen that does want to have a lick. So far, so good, so easy to do. That's the cake base done, and then I've got 2 tins of pears, cut each one into about 3, like that. Then I'm going to just arrange those fairly higgledy-piggledy all over.
Don't push the pears too far into the mix, or they will stick to the tin.
Then the blueberries, scatter those on top, in between. So that's it. Wasn't too difficult, was it?
Pop it into the oven 180 fan for 20 to 25 minutes. While that's cooking, heat a few tablespoons of red currant jelly.
I'm rather pleased with that.
Last touch is that red currant glaze. Gorgeous.
There we are. It's cooked beautifully right through to the middle. I would say that would serve, what, 6 to 8, depending on how hungry you are. Do you know something? That really is superb and so easy too.
That brings an end to my visit of a city I hold so dear. And what a wonderful trip it's been. And I'm sure I'll be back very soon.
Bristol will always have a special place in my heart, sharing old memories and creating new ones.
Next time, I'll be batting for England.
Ah, straight drive.
Sharing recipes with the pros.
This is lovely. Couldn't be happier.
And meeting the stars of tomorrow.
Pile them up.
Cooking is really at its best when it's shared.
Wow.
So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right.
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it. I'm here at the beautiful Cornbury Park estate for the Wilderness Festival, a beacon for followers of music, culture, and of course, fashion.
Bit chilly, I think.
But most of all, it's for lovers of food. I've been drawn to the 76 food trucks here with their array of glorious goodies.
You've got everything in there.
Thank you very much.
Now that looks wonderful. I love to be able to eat with my fingers.
Over the next 4 days, thousands will happily stand in line for all the delicious street food on offer.
That is so tempting. But what you didn't tell me is going to be hot, very hot and spicy.
Oh.
But it's delicious.
Sorry.
while others have travelled for an epic dining experience.
There's so much going on at this festival, I really don't know where to start. But luckily, a very handsome friend is on his way to guide me.
It's my dear old colleague, Michelin-starred chef Nicholas Ekstedt. He is one of 18 guest chefs and 200 caterers who will be feeding the 25,000 revellers. But tonight he's my dinner date.
Good evening, Mary.
How are you?
How
Gosh,
are you?
long time no see.
Nicholas and I have a seat at the banquet tent where nearly 400 of us are going to share a meal together. What a highlight.
I'm Mary.
Hi, Scott. Hello, everyone. Hi, Nicholas.
So are you excited? Is it your first time?
It is my first time at Gordon's.
So what have you come for, the food or the music? Ah, the food.
Food, definitely.
Award-winning chef Robin Gill is the one tasked with feeding us all this evening. I can't imagine what's going on behind the scenes.
Coming up with a menu like this for 400 people in the middle of a field is a massive challenge. I think you obviously want to do your best, but you just got to pick the best ingredients you can get your hands on. It's a nice thing because it's a sense of occasion and sharing. And I have heard that Mary Berry's coming tonight, so no pressure.
I'm dying to know what we're going to be having.
Here we go. A starter of an anchovy dip with a feast of fresh garden vegetables to share, some of which aren't being treated with the respect they deserve.
See, they're doing the carrot dance.
As long as we eat them afterwards, I'm happy to have a go.
Is this something British?
This is one of the main reasons why people come to this festival, because it's all about sharing. It's a big sense of community, and everybody gets stuck in. It's an awesome atmosphere.
Ooh. Next are some fried parcels stuffed with pig's cheek, honey and chives, and topped with rosemary copper.
That has the honey.
It's good. Skål.
I so enjoyed that meal. For a shared dining experience at home with your own crowd of family or friends, these two fabulous recipes will be easy to cook.
There's nothing simpler, really, than roast chicken. I've got 2 chickens here. They're nearly 2 kilos each, so plenty to go round. And I'm going to do it this Sunday. Family are coming round, and the boys eat for Britain.
I really want these chickens to be bursting with flavour, so into the cavity goes fresh sage, bay leaves and lemon.
Just put it in there.
To make them even more succulent, a simple mix of paprika and butter.
Just mash that down together. That's it.
Season, then spread the mixture all over the skin. The paprika will give the chicken a fabulous rich colour.
And the butter will drip down into the juices under the bird, and I'll be making a first-rate gravy from that.
There's a clever way to cook these. Throw sage, bay leaves and garlic into a roasting tin with 300 ml of chicken stock and 150 ml of white wine.
Having stock and wine underneath means that the steam helps to cook, and it really does add a good flavour to them.
They are oven ready. I just need to make my delicious scallop potatoes to go with them. It's easy. Using a greased dish, layer up thinly sliced potato and onion. A little butter and stock. Season well and repeat the layers.
Then really give that a good push down. But don't worry that it's going to be proud on the top, because it actually sinks down during cooking. And then I'm going to make a nice pattern on top. And it looks as though you're not going to get all the potato in this dish, but I'm jolly well going to get it all in. I think when everybody looks at that, they'll think, oh, she's, you know, bothered to do it all neatly all the way up. But between you and me, I haven't, as you know.
Cover with buttered foil.
You know, it's just like doing Christmas pudding when you turn the foil in. The joy of this is the chickens and the potatoes all cook at the same time. You can get on with other jobs and let it keep to its own devices.
Cook both dishes in the oven at 180 for about 1.5 hours. After 45 minutes, remove foil from the potatoes, then return to the oven till crisp and golden. Those flavour-packed juices will make a classic rich gravy.
Look at that. And there's plenty. 2 wonderful plump chickens, plenty of scallop potatoes, nobody will notice, and lashings of gravy. What a fantastic feast for a crowd. Everywhere I walk, I smell delicious food. The difficulty is what to choose.
I've just spotted some potatoes that remind me of mine. Though perhaps not the size of the pan.
Bonjour, Cécile.
Bonjour, Mary.
What amazing pans you've got here.
Thank you.
All French choices. Tartiflette?
Yes.
Sausages, and what are those at the end?
Those are vegan potatoes with some peppers, some onions, tomatoes, you know, all the flavour from the south of France.
How many potatoes do you anticipate using for this festival over the few days?
Loads.
And who does the peeling?
My husband.
Poor chap.
No.
So he's out the back doing
He's at
peeling.
the back. No, we use already peeled potatoes, so we're okay with that.
I thought you might, yes.
Otherwise I'll be divorced.
Thank goodness their marriage is safe. Now to taste those potatoes.
So I hope you like. It's pretty nice.
It's great, and I covet these pans. They're great, aren't they?
Yes,
I hope
dear.
you have a very busy time over for a few days.
Thank you, thanks.
Merci.
Merci à vous. Au revoir.
Do you know, there are so many food trucks here, and I've tried 2. The choice is enormous. I'm going to be popping by the time I get to the end.
If I had a food truck here, I think my next mouth-watering dish would keep the meat lovers very happy.
Sticky, short beef ribs. Lovely to eat out of doors, even pick it up with your fingers. You can actually finish them off on the barbecue too. First of all, I'm going to make a piquant marinade. Tomato ketchup first. 75 ml of apple juice.
2 tablespoons of Worcester sauce and the same of soy, 1 of white wine vinegar, and to sweeten it all up, 4 of maple syrup.
4 cloves of garlic, and I've crushed those. Chili flakes, and then some pepper and salt. This marinade is really a bit of sweet and a bit of sour. So in go the beef ribs. It's essential that you get them really well coated. The smell is lovely.
Leave the ribs in the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours, but ideally overnight. With those flavours absorbed, pop them into a deep oven-proof pan, bone side up, to ensure the meat will be covered by the marinade.
So in goes the marinade, pouring that over the top. And then I have got 200 ml of water. Just swill that round to get all those lovely flavours from the tin, and in it goes.
Once everything is in the pan, bring to the boil.
On with the lid, then into the oven. These ribs are full of flavour, but the one thing they do need is long, slow cooking to reduce the fat and to make the actual meat really, really tender.
After 3.5 hours in a low 130 fan oven, leave to cool, then transfer to a baking tray. The short ribs should be really tender, almost falling off the bone.
Now my next task is to take that surplus off. It's sort of beef dripping with extra flavour. I remember when there were bowls of dripping in the fridge, having had a roast, and Dad would creep into the kitchen and put them on toast and pretend he knew nothing about it when it wasn't there.
So this marinade really packs a punch. Reduce by half until lovely and thick, then spoon over those ribs.
Right, into the oven at 180 fan for a final 15 minutes so that the top becomes sticky and delicious. Wow. That really is the deepest, darkest brown. That is so tender, it's melting in the mouth, and that's so, so good.
To turn my sticky ribs into a food truck special, serve with coleslaw and charred corn.
One of the highlights of the festival is the chef's table, with specially designed menus for their fans, and I count myself as one of them.
Each day, a different chef cooks for a more intimate crowd. Today, it's my friend's turn, and there are great expectations.
This is the chef's table, and it is the grandest place to eat.
Yes, and this is where the chefs showcase their signature dishes.
And they watch what you're up to.
Exactly. It's a little bit like being a musician on the stage, because you have the guests straight in front of you. So you can see in their eyes if the food is good or not.
Do you know, if I was in your shoes and people were watching me cook, I would have sort of butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking day, and then you're coming as well, so it's double trouble for me.
I'm no trouble at all. I'm just very excited.
One of the dishes on Nicholas's menu will be fresh oysters cooked with flaming beef fat. I've never seen anything like it, but luckily I'm getting a preview.
So you put the beef fat in a flaming hot container and let it drip down on the oysters.
Yeah.
No seasoning?
No seasoning.
So are you going to be actually doing this at the chef's table?
Yes, yeah.
Gosh, they'll be frightened when they see that.
Could you pass me the oysters, the oyster shells over there?
Yes. They're beautiful. And
Thank
the
you.
seaweed.
And then the oysters goes down back into the shell. In Scandinavia, we didn't eat raw oysters, but there were no lemons, of course, but we had apple.
So what's in that?
It's a beurre blanc with apple.
I have never had oysters cooked like that. Wow. That slipped down so beautifully. And then suddenly you come across the apple, which gives it a bit of crunch.
Yeah.
It doesn't need any seasoning.
No.
And it's also got that smoky taste.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're going to be lucky, aren't they? Normally, you're cooking in your restaurants, whether it's in London or Sweden. What makes you come here to the festival?
Because it's just such a beautiful setting, and then people are in a really good mood, and they're not stressed, they're just here to enjoy themselves, and it's all about sharing food and sharing memories, and yeah, so it's just great.
Now Nicholas wants me to taste his scallop dish, served with a unique and clever mayonnaise made from their roe.
Instead of egg yolks, I smoke the roe a little bit over the fire.
Right. Of course, it's a gorgeous colour, because that's just what the roe is.
Yeah.
It tastes very piquant and lovely.
Yeah.
Nicholas wouldn't be Nicholas without flames involved at every turn. This is a bold take on smoking scallops using hay.
Right. And they've changed colour.
Yep.
They will be served on a bed of sea herbs and shallots, with thin slices of dried smoked reindeer.
It's very lean, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a Scandinavian jerk. So it's brine and then dried over birch smoke.
Finally, that scallop roe mayonnaise.
Isn't that pretty?
Thank you.
I mean, it's like a picture.
Thank you.
That's the best scallop I've ever had. No. And I don't say that easily. Honestly, it is absolutely brilliant.
You're even crying a little bit there.
I'm not
Got a
crying,
tear.
it's your wretched smoke coming, making me cry. Do you have all the girls crying when you push them in front of you?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I started cooking.
The festival, it's boisterous, it's fun, it's noisy, but I've found a little haven of peace.
Sharing food with a lot of people should never be daunting. My next dish can be easily scaled up or down, depending on how many mouths there are to feed.
I've prepared all the ingredients, and so if you're outdoor living and you've got a barbecue or you've got something to cook on, it's a perfect thing to make.
The base of the risotto is finely chopped celery and onion. Cook them until soft, then throw in minced garlic and chestnut mushrooms.
So peaceful here, I'm wondering whether the ducks at the other end will come up and see what I'm up to.
They only need a few minutes. Then it's time for the key ingredient, 275 grams of risotto rice.
Now, risotto rice is a round rice. If you use a long grain rice, it doesn't absorb the liquid in the same way. In it goes. So wine now, 250 ml. Now that's a fair-sized glass, and I know that measurement very well.
Once that's absorbed, start adding hot vegetable stock.
And then you wait for each ladleful to be absorbed into that rice.
Continue to stir in the stock until the rice is almost cooked. It'll take about 15 minutes, but in surroundings like this, I'm more than happy.
You're allowed to go swimming in this lake, and you can take your clothes off as well, naked. I haven't seen any yet.
Back to my risotto. Add chopped fresh sage, petit pois, and a creamy, rich Stilton.
Now that melts very easily, and just a little salt, because the Stilton is quite salty itself. That's it. What it needs now is a knob of butter. Gives the rice a shine to it, and of course adds to the flavour too.
My risotto looks velvety and very tempting.
That is just right. I've waited 20 minutes for this, dying for a taste. That is absolutely delicious. Do you know, it tastes so much better because I'm out of doors and I'm hungry.
If you want something fresh and vibrant to serve alongside the risotto, I have the perfect companion.
What makes this salad is the herb lemon dressing.
Mix together 1 crushed garlic clove, half a finely chopped green chilli, the juice of 1 lemon, 2 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, a dash of caster sugar, and some olive oil.
As you add the oil, it'll just thicken up a little bit.
But it's the fresh herbs, finely chopped basil and mint, that brings this dish to life.
This smells wonderful. Now at home, if you want to, you can put that in a processor or a chopper. If you're good with a French cook's knife, do it by hand.
The dressing just needs its vegetables, which have all been cooked for 3 or 4 minutes until just tender. I'm using French beans, asparagus, chunky cut runner beans, and podded broad beans.
Stir those all together and make sure that the dressing mixes well. If you're going on a picnic, you can put the dressing in one container, the beans in another, then when you get there, combine the two together. Gosh, it looks colourful and tempting.
For added crunch, a sprinkle of roast pumpkin and chia seeds will do the job.
I just love this dish, and I found the perfect companion to share it with me.
The much-loved singer Sophie Ellis-Bextor has just finished her 50-minute set. I'm sure she's worked up an appetite and is ready to eat.
The crowd were loving every minute, and there's seen masses of them. I have no idea how many.
It was a really lovely thing, actually, because, yeah, we were invited to open the festival, and they all looked all sparkly and lots of smiley faces and hands in the air. So, yeah, my heart is full, but my tummy is empty. So.
Well, I've got a risotto for you and a bean salad, and I hope you like it.
It looks amazing. I have to confess, I spend some of the time that I'm on stage pondering what I'm going to eat to reward myself.
How did you have time at that?
There's always time to think about food. This is really delicious, by the way.
Margarita time.
Oh,
ladies.
Richard. This is my husband, Richard, the cocktail maker in our house. Thank you, sweetheart.
Here's a Tommy's margarita.
Margarita. Oh, do tell us what's in it.
It's a margarita, but it's only 3 ingredients. So it's tequila, lime, and agave syrup.
Oh, and it's got frost on the outside.
Yes.
It's really cold.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy days in the sunshine.
And look who's drunk more than anybody else.
You'll be on the dance floor in 5 minutes, trust me.
Stumbling on the dance floor. That's great.
Cocktails are perfect on sunny days like this, but I also like to serve my family and friends something truly special to eat. They deserve it after all. There is nothing more elegant than my final recipe, a glazed peach tart.
It's spectacular. Now, it does take time to make, but it's really something very special when you want to show off, and it tastes absolutely wonderful.
The base of this tart is a 28cm sweet pastry case. The filling is my foolproof crème pâtissière that starts with 6 egg yolks, 55 grams of plain flour and 1 tablespoon of corn flour.
Adding the corn flour means that you get a really perfect thick result.
Add 115 grams of caster sugar and work together.
And when that's really well together, which it is, it's sort of a paste at this stage. Then I'm going to add 500 ml of scalding milk, very, very hot milk to it, very gradually.
Whisk away, and the heat of the milk will cook the flour and the egg yolks.
Making quite sure there are no lumps in there. Missed. That's perfect.
Pour the mix into the pan and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Keep it moving on a low heat until it's lovely and thick. Transfer into a clean bowl, cover and pop in the fridge to thicken even more.
Now this crème pâtissière is really firm. Really, really firm. That's because it has set, it's been in the fridge.
100 ml of whipped double pouring cream will make this even more luxurious.
So that's going into the fridge while I cook my peaches.
Add 8 sliced peaches into the sugar syrup, which is simply sugar dissolved in water over a low heat.
If you don't cook the peaches briefly, they will discolour. The heat just seals them. That is absolutely perfect. Everyone is keeping its shape, and it's well coated with the syrup.
Now for my favourite bit, assembling the tart.
The crème pâtissière is very cold now. I'm going to put that straight into the prepared case. It's a bit of all right. That's it. Now to the peaches.
Starting from the edge, place the peach slices neatly round the dish.
This is a tricky recipe to make. It takes a lot of care, but gosh, you'll be proud of it when you've finished. That really does look stunning, I think, but it'll look even better when it gets its shiny glaze.
Simply melt the apricot jam and brush over the tart, and it's ready.
I think that looks sheer perfection, and it's going to be so delicious.
As my time at the festival draws to a close, I have one last stop to make. Nicholas's guests are arriving, and his moment in the spotlight is about to begin.
Okay, everybody! Welcome to Chef's Table. The beef fat cooked oysters are soon gonna be arriving, and I want you to eat it immediately as soon as it's served. So don't stare at it, eat it.
In such an intimate setting, I can see Nicholas is keen to know what the diners think. I'll just have to ask them.
The scallops in there.
So, is it a great experience for you?
Oh, it's been unbelievable.
And I can see every scrap has gone. So what does he get for a presentation?
A 10 out of 10.
I'm sure Nicholas will be thrilled with that, even while getting ready to serve the next 7 courses. And as for the diners, I think they're in food heaven.
I've eaten my way around the festival, and what a great experience it's been.
It shows how cooking and sharing does bring people together, whether you're in a tent or eating with friends at home. Next time,
I hope you're hungry.
I'm going to the magnificent city of Edinburgh.
It's magical.
Exploring its natural beauty.
That's heaven on a plate.
And attending an event like no other.
Come on!
Cooking is really at its best when it's shared. Wow. So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right.
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it. So much of the food I love to share is inspired by adventures I've had along Britain's beautiful coastline.
I've so many wonderful memories of family holidays on the coast.
Dorset's Jurassic Coast is really special. From its natural larder to its hidden treasures, it's one of my favourite places to escape to. What my family love most about our trips is the delicious seafood. Nothing is better than eating it fresh from the sea. Local lad Shakshuka feels just the same.
Hello there.
Hello there, young Mary.
You must be Sam.
Yep, that's me.
And Dad John is working. That's good.
Hi there, Mary.
Hello, nice to see you. And who's the little dog?
That's Bobo's.
Does he have a life jacket?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get you on.
Okay.
Sam's a fully qualified scallop diver, having learnt everything from his father, John.
So once you've got all that kit on, how many do you reckon to get?
Well, I should get around about 100 scallops.
100 scallops?
Yeah, it is Kate down there.
You put them into a net or a bag or what?
Well, this is what we use.
Neat little shopping bag.
Yeah. I hold it with my left hand.
You look pretty young to me. How old are you?
I'm 21. Well, I've been fishing for 5 years now. In my last year, I've just been started scallop diving. And as soon as I got down there, it was just, I was literally a kid in a sand pit. It was just seeing all the sea life and the scallops and nature. There's nothing quite like it.
Makes you feel good.
It makes you feel alive. It really does.
So, are we ready to go?
Well, as I'll ever be. Let's get in there.
To help him reach the seabed, Sam puts on a weighted 20-kilo belt.
All right, I'll see you later.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
Hand diving is a sustainable method of fishing because it causes little environmental damage. Sam can spend over an hour down there. Luckily, he's not going for that long today. Good thing, because I'm getting hungry.
Oh, man, that was awesome.
Have you filled that fishing bag?
Oh, I've stuffed it all right.
Gosh, that's cram jam full of scallops.
Yeah, that was pretty dang good.
I'd say you reckon there's a good 100 there, son.
I would say there, yeah.
God, they are tightly closed.
Beautiful. You know, this is how we should eat seafood, fresh out of the water.
Any under 11 centimetres are returned to the sea and allowed to grow. But there are plenty left for the recipe I want to make.
How many scallops would you like, Mary?
About 20 or 30 would be lovely.
Oh, brilliant. I'll chuck you a few then.
That was pretty quick.
Oh, I've had the experience of it.
What a lovely young chap. Shucking is not the job for me.
You're just cleaning it?
Yep, that's your scallop.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? They look absolutely amazing, so shiny and fresh, straight from the sea. Couldn't be better.
I can't wait to see how you cook them.
Seeing scallops harvested like that is truly impressive. I may not have joined Sam underwater, but I can share one of my own special scallop recipes with him. Start by heating a large frying pan until very hot. Add a tablespoonful of oil and a knob of butter.
And you know how just fresh these are, straight from the sea.
When the butter turns a rich nutty brown, throw in the scallops. The trick is to fry them for no more than 30 seconds on each side.
A little pepper and salt if I haven't lost my hat.
If you don't have scallops, king prawns are a good alternative.
That's it. I'm taking them off right now.
To go with these wonderful scallops, there's nothing better than oyster mushrooms.
They're very meaty, and I like to cut them fairly thinly, lengthways, just like that. And yes, you do eat all the stalk. It's the best part.
All they need is to be fried in some oil, butter, and finely chopped garlic.
Sheer luxury. Little pepper and salt, and stir well. And it'll take 2 to 3 minutes to cook that. Just turn it over. I often like to do this with 2 spoons, but as I'm on the beach, it's either saving the hat or using 2 spoons, saving the hat.
A good glug of white wine will get this sauce going.
Do you know, it's something about with the sound of the sea behind me and the wind, it is lovely. I really feel I'm on holiday.
It's 300 ml of full-fat cream that transforms the dish into something divine.
So that's a lovely sauce consistency there. A little squeeze of lemon juice, some fresh tarragon. That'll give a wonderful flavour. More colour and flavour from parsley. There it is, perfect sauce.
One last thing to do.
These are the star of the show. Just let those go in. Don't they look beautiful? Doesn't that look delicious? I hope Sam is looking forward to sharing them with me.
I've shared scallops many a time, but I've never cooked them for a professional scallop diver before. Let's hope this recipe has done justice to his catch.
Oh, wow, Mary, this looks amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, you said when you came off the boat that you would be starving, so you've got a good portion.
It really is.
Well, come on, see what you think.
Ah. Wow. I honestly think this is the best scallops I've ever had. I didn't know they could be this beautiful.
Well, they couldn't be fresher, could they? And I think the important thing of scallops, whether you cook them in the oven, whether you fry them, however you do them, is to do them just for a few seconds each side. Because if you cook them for too long, they're tough.
Don't overcook them.
Because my family love the coast, whether it's summer or winter, I always have a simple warming recipe up my sleeve that's perfect after a long day out.
Lasagna is an absolute staple for most families, and I've got a brand new one.
It may not be the classic lasagna, but it's easy, creamy and delicious. Start with 500 grams of diced chicken thighs.
There it is, beginning to sizzle straight away. So I'm just tossing that until it's lightly brown and not cooked.
Then add some chilli, garlic and mushrooms and let them sizzle.
Won't take long, that's it. Then I'm going to add 200 grams of young spinach, lovely and tender. Looks as though it won't all go in, but I assure you it's going to. So just turn that until it's wilted.
Rather than the fuss of making a bechamel sauce, I've got a much better plan.
So that's bubbling away. Add the creme fraiche, and you know me, full fat creme fraiche, all in one go. 200 ml. And some parsley, all to add flavour. Give that a stir and let it bubble up. And then that is a thin mixture.
I'm going to thicken it up with a little bit of corn flour that's been mixed with water until smooth. That's the creamy chicken done. Now onto the tomato layer. Add 2 tablespoons of sun-dried tomato paste to a tin of chopped tomatoes.
That really does add a depth of flavour.
Boost it further with a tablespoon of chopped thyme and, of course, pepper and salt.
So just give that a good stir. And no need to do it on the cooker. It's going to get cooked when you put the lasagna in the oven.
Now just bring it all together. Spoon 1/3 of the creamy chicken mixture into an oven dish.
It'll look a pretty thin layer, but it's right. So just spread that out so everybody gets a little bit of chicken. Then about 1/3 of the tomato. And blob it. Don't try and spread it because it doesn't spread. Then I'm going to take the lasagna sheets that I've been soaking. I might have to overlap this a bit, but that'll be all right because I've softened it. But you'll need 3 sheets.
Keep building the layers and finish with a generous topping of grated cheddar.
The more flavoursome, the better. Mature would be good. Right, that's all ready to go into the oven.
Bake for 35 to 40 minutes in a 180 fan oven until the topping is a gorgeous golden brown.
There it is, bubbling away in here. Oh, and it's heavy, I might say, too. There we are. And it smells really good. The sort of smell you want to open the door and come into. Can you see the steam coming from it? So if I'm quiet for a moment, you know why. This really is Moorish. Great dish to share, but on the other hand, I don't know how much is going to be left.
It's not just the seafood that lures us to the Jurassic Coast. The name says it all. Charmouth Beach is littered with fossils. Enthusiasts of all ages come here to share their passion for our ancient past. I'm told local expert Nigel Clark is the man to talk to.
Is there any chance of me finding fossils today?
The cliffs around here, 150 to 250 million years old. You're actually seeing a cross-section of the seabed here, and every time these waves hit these cliffs, more fossils get washed out. So you've got as much chance of finding a fossil as the next person coming down on the beach.
So what do you think I might find?
Well, normally around here, if you're lucky, you do find some bits of ammonite. When you look at this fossil, luckily this is cracked on the beach. And when you actually lift it up, you can see it's got some traces of fossils just here.
Right.
But if you investigated it further, you've got a perfect ammonite right in the middle there.
Just like a little curly shell.
It is like a curly shell. But this is 180 million years old. And you're the first person to have seen this since it was formed during the Jurassic Sea. So it's a perfect ammonite right in there.
It looks lovely.
All this fossil hunting has made me work up an appetite. I might not have a recipe for ammonites, but I do have one for a marine animal that's far more available to us.
Moule marinière, a great classic. I'm doing it on a beach. The sun is out. There's the sea. What could be better? Gosh, it's warm. So I've got the moule here, and they're lovely and fresh, but just go through them. So any of them are open, which that one is slightly, you can just see slightly open. And then if you just bang it on the table, it's closed. If they don't close, don't use them, because that means they're not fresh.
This is a quick cook, starting with oil and butter sizzling in a pan.
And then I've got shallot here, and they're very finely shredded.
Fry them for 3 to 4 minutes to soften.
Give it a good stir. They want to go translucent.
Add 4 crushed cloves of garlic and 150 ml of white wine. In go the mussels.
Oh, smells wonderful. Then on with the lid, and you just cook those for a few minutes until every one of those mussels have opened out.
Luckily, there's something to look at while I wait.
I think they should be ready now. They're all open. There they are, absolutely perfect. So in the pan now is just the wine and a few shreds of shallot. So at this stage, you almost want to call the family. They will wait for no one.
Keep the pan boiling until that flavoursome liquor is reduced by half.
Now, in goes the cream. Yes, double cream, of course. That's it. And then just bubble that up. I'll give it a stir. And pepper and salt. Not too much salt, because mussels come from the sea and they're fairly salty, and some pepper.
Return the mussels to the pan and add a squeeze of lemon juice to give them a final lift.
I want them piping hot, so I'll give them a good stir now. Bubble them up, and then I'm in for a taste. Oh, great smell there. That's how it should be. Very, very hot, and they look amazing. So tempting. A little bit of green on top, parsley. Well, who could resist trying right now? There they are, kept in their shell. Discard 1/2 of the shell. Then scoop up as much of the juice as I can. Doesn't get much better than this.
Food from the sea takes all sorts of forms these days, and I'm keen to understand more about it. Happy to share his knowledge is local fisherman Mike Webb, who is experimenting with a whole new crop, seaweed.
There we go, so yeah.
So this is sugar kelp.
This is what we've been growing.
How long have you been doing it?
Oh, it's about the 3rd year we're doing it now. We'd really love to expand it and upscale it and get more people interested and see what we can do with it.
I've never thought of seaweed being harvested and used like this.
It's fairly easy to grow, to be honest. Basically, we send off some fertile material to some labs, and they give us back some twine that's basically got some young seedlings growing on it. We deploy it on a rope, we leave it for 6 months, and it grows into adult sugar kelp. Sustainability-wise, there's no fertilizers, there's no fresh water used. It creates ecosystems. It's just a winner.
So, what do you do with all this when it comes out?
Oh, it goes to a range of people. We've got a local restaurant. He's a very experienced chef, messing around with different recipes to encourage other chefs he knows to start using it.
Well, I'm looking forward to tasting it.
Yeah, see what you can do with it. It'd be nice to see someone like yourself, you know, get your hands dirty with it.
I'm ready to see how the seaweed is transformed. Chef and restaurateur Nigel Bloxham has been cooking with it for close on 3 years and has invited me to share his creations.
So, Nigel, this is the finished product of the seaweed that is farmed just out there.
This is just simple. This is sugar kelp crisps. We've just simply just brushed it with oil, sesame seeds in the oven, 15 minutes, done.
It sort of tastes of the sea, but what I like about it is it's so crisp, and sesame seeds go rather well with it.
Very well.
It's as light as a feather.
Next, Nigel wants me to taste a simple seaweed butter, which can be topped with gutweed.
It looks a bit like moss or the stuff that is clinging onto a boat.
That's exactly what it is. It's that weed that looks like beard, and it's got a horrible name because they call it gutweed. So to get everybody eating it, because it's terribly good for you, is rename it. This is crispy seaweed. It's been washed out and then deep fried.
It would look lovely as a garnish as well.
It's great.
And it looks tempting, far better than on the side of a boat.
This is your Chinese crispy seaweed. I know they use lettuce and cabbage, but this is the real thing.
This is really tasty, and it tastes salty, it tastes of the sea, it's crispy and appealing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic.
It sort of melts in the mouth.
Who would have thought gutweed could be so Moorish? Nigel has one more dish for me to try.
So I'm getting down to business now.
Yes. This is the hake, done with a tapenade.
But tapenade, I think of black olives, and so what's in this tapenade?
That's a green olive with the sugar kelp, a little bit of oil, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of garlic.
It's very appealing to look at, and you've got a bit of the crispy sugar kelp on the side.
Yes, and we've got a little bit of mash underneath, which we've run a bit of seaweed through.
That's very tasty. Quite salty, no need to have any more salt.
No, we didn't add any salt to the fish. The fish has got the flavour from the tapenade.
So why do you like sharing the seaweed, and what is the reaction from your customers?
I like it because it grows really easy. It provides us more oxygen to the atmosphere than forestry. We should be eating it because it's got loads of vitamins in it. It's got a lot of omega-3 in it. That's where the fish get their omega-3. It actually comes from the algae.
Thank you so much, Nigel, for sharing your enthusiasm for edible seaweed. And I, for one, love this one.
Cheers.
Well, I certainly don't want to be left out of the fun. So I've created a recipe which uses seaweed, but the type you can buy in a supermarket.
So this is a first for me. I have not used seaweed before. And nori is a Japanese word for seaweed. And it's the nori that makes it very, very special. So you often get it in sushi, wrapping around that rice. It has an unusual taste. It's slightly fishy. And I think I might soon become addicted to it.
I'm starting with a mixture of fresh vegetables.
First of all, the daikon. Now, that is a Japanese radish. I've cut that into shreds. Takes time to do, but well worth it. Celery, red pepper, and the carrot, I've grated, coarsely grated carrot. Some spring onions cut on the diagonal.
Because they're all finely sliced, the sumptuous dressing will have lots to stick to.
This looks so bright and colourful, and also full of flavour.
The soba noodles will help carry the flavours too.
And they're sort of soft, but they don't stick together. They're excellent. That's it. Going to give that a bit of a stir, but it needs that really lovely dressing, so I'll show you how to make it.
Measure 2 tablespoons of grated ginger, olive oil and soy sauce, with 4 of rice wine vinegar.
Pepper and salt. And remember that the seaweed's a bit salty too. It combines very well just with a fork, you don't need a whisk.
Drizzle over and toss thoroughly so every slither is dripping in the delicious dressing.
So that's the salad all finished. And we just need the star ingredient, our seaweed, to bring it all together. And I'm trying to make it sort of noodly. With a sawing action, you can hear that it's crispy. I'm a bit frightened that it's going to blow away. Over there, there's a kite surfer, and he's doing very well, and I don't want him to have my seaweed. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of that nori in. And the colour gives it a lift as well, doesn't it? That's it.
And finally, the taste test.
It is absolutely scrumptious. It's a taste of the sea. It's well seasoned, lots of crunch, and it didn't cost the earth either. Delicious.
The Jurassic Coast has been a joy, with so much wonderful food and many skills to share. But there's one last ingredient that has always made me think of the sea: salt. But I'm not using it on some fish. I'm about to use it in one of the most mouth-watering cakes you will ever taste.
If you're wanting a cake that's totally indulgent, then my salted caramel cake fits the bill.
Start with cracking the eggs into a bowl.
That's the 4 eggs in there. I suppose I ought to be crushing those up and putting them round hostas so the slugs don't get there.
Measure in the chilled baking spread and self-raising flour, along with caster and light muscovado sugar.
Then half a teaspoonful of salt, sprinkle that over, and then a teaspoonful of baking powder. Make sure that it is a level teaspoon. If you heap it up, the sponge will rise up and fall down again. So just put that in.
Finally, add 1 tablespoonful of milk, 3 tablespoons of tinned caramel, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Put the beaters in absolutely upright, otherwise I will shower the whole table with flour. And then gently move it around. And you see that the muscovado sugar and the caramel have made it this lovely soft brown colour.
Split between 2 20-centimetre tins and bake at 160 fan for about 25 to 30 minutes.
Now for the salted caramel icing.
It's simple and wonderful. Cream together butter and icing sugar. Then add the sea salt and remaining caramel, which is what makes this cake so special.
That's smooth, rich, and a glorious caramel colour. So I'm ready to ice the cake. That's it. Oh. You might say that you have to be patient when you're icing a cake. I just like doing it, and I enjoy it. I take time.
To balance out the subtle salt, some rich shop-bought vanilla fudge.
Just makes it look very smart. There it is, salted caramel cake. Just look how that's going through beautifully. I'm trying very hard not to drop it. It has that lovely soft mixture in the middle and then a really wicked icing on top. This is absolutely delicious. Yummy. I might even go back for a second slice.
Everyone will want a piece of this stunning cake. I've just loved my time on the Jurassic Coast.
The coastline here is so special. The views, the history, and of course the food. And the people here love to share it.
Next time,
a bit chilly, I think.
I'm heading to a festival where sharing food...
You can see in their eyes if the food is good or not.
and cooking for others...
That is absolutely delicious.
...is at its heart.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy days in the sunshine.
Cooking is really at its best when it's shared. Wow. So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right.
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it.
I've spent a lot of time watching cricket in clubs just like this one because my husband and boys love to play.
Breaking for tea during a cricket match has been a tradition as long as the game itself. It always reminds me of summertime.
I used to pretend that I was there for the cricket, but it was the cricket teas that were my forte.
I have some wonderful recipes to share that are perfect for any sporting picnic. And right off the bat, my brownies are always a hit. And there are never any leftovers for the next innings.
Who doesn't love a chocolate brownie? I've got the ultimate recipe here. It is very, very rich, gooey in the middle. It's got a crust on top. It's very, very good.
All made in one bowl, this is a no-mess, no-fuss treat. Just pure indulgence. Start by melting 360 grams of dark chocolate with 225 grams of butter.
Just go on pressing against the side, mixing that until it'll run smoothly. It's got a lovely shine to it.
Then add 225 grams of light muscovado. It's the perfect sugar to give the brownies a really gooey centre.
Then I'm going to add 4 beaten eggs. In it goes. I've done a lot of baking in my life, and I find it's the thing that I go and do when I've got time on my hands. But most importantly of all, if you make good bakes, you're a friend of so many. That's perfect. Absolutely smooth. Then in goes the self-raising flour, just 75 grams. You add it at the end because the chocolate was fairly warm and it wants to have cooled down. Beat that in and it wants to go in smoothly. That's beautifully smooth, no sign of any flecks of flour.
A teaspoon of vanilla extract will add to those rich flavours.
Vanilla and chocolate go very well together, and it gives a really lovely flavour.
Finally, 75 grams of dark chocolate chips.
This is the perfect indulgent chocolate brownie, and just to come across those few lumps of hard chocolate is lovely.
No dividing up needed. Simply pour into a greased lined tin 30 by 23 centimetres.
And if you think there's lumps in there, it's not, it's those chocolate chips.
This gloriously gooey mix will need a little encouragement to make it level.
Into the corner over here. That is perfect.
Pop into an oven 160 degrees fan for about 45 minutes.
I've been drawn in by the smell of chocolate, and the time is up for the brownies. Just look at that, a perfect brownie. Should have that lovely shiny top. Don't worry about the odd crack, part of its charm.
Wait for it to cool before sharing. It'll be worth it. This reminds me of feeding my husband Paul and our boys when they played cricket in the village.
We wives would all do it together. It was all a social thing, great fun. So cut it into 24, and then just cut these across little pieces because it really is very, very rich. It's melt in the mouth. It couldn't be more chocolatey.
Rich, gooey and totally irresistible, this is a treat that goes a long way. Perfect for sharing.
This really is the ultimate brownie.
My family have always loved cricket, and I have always cheered them on, but not on a pitch as impressive as this one.
I may have made a lot of cricket teas for my village club, but feeding the England team is a first.
Fresh from their test match success against New Zealand, in just 2 days' time, England will face off against India, here in Birmingham. I'm so excited to meet two of our top stars, Ollie Pope and Johnny Bairstow.
You really must be on a high because New Zealand was so successful and we were so proud of you.
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing few weeks. And this guy's obviously been pretty special as well, leading us to the last 2 test victories, really. But yeah, hopefully long may it continue.
So you both bat and wicket keep. I know all about wicket keeping because my husband was a wicket keeper and Hobie, my grandson, is a wicket keeper. And I've spent many, many hours on the cricket pitch, but making the teas.
It's good fun wicket keeping. I mean, it's not great on the fingers, a lot of broken fingers along the way.
Actually, it must be bad on the knees because you're always down there, aren't you?
Bad on the knees, bad on the fingers. I think you've done all right making the teas, I reckon.
I think I'm on the right side.
I'm more at home with Battenberg than batting practice, but my husband and grandsons wouldn't forgive me if I didn't have a go.
Have I got my hands right?
Yep, that's perfect.
You ready?
Kind of.
I'm terrified.
1, 2, 3.
Ah, straight drive.
It's not 6, though, is it?
It's not 6, probably 4.
That's the straightest
I
4.
didn't miss anyway, did I?
Absolutely not. It's gone for 4.
It's a better technique than mine.
Correct, and mine. I've only been trying to do it for 20 years.
My first 4 at Edgbaston. Maybe I've got a 6 in me.
Right, we'll go again.
Wait a moment. They usually roll the sleeves up.
Always roll the sleeves up.
Get the guns out.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's a shot.
But not far enough. I wanted to get it right over to your stand.
Well, that's what Ollie said for a little while here as well, so you've hit it further than him.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't even hit it that far.
Spending hours on a pitch like this one, you certainly would build up an appetite.
Cricket teas, when I used to do them, were sort of ham sandwiches, scones, a nice fruit cake.
Oh, those were the days, weren't they?
Yeah, every now and again you get a cheese and ham toasty, don't you, as well?
Well, every now and again. I wish we were having that these days. It's more like a protein shake and the more sensible options.
Mind you, it does work, doesn't it?
Yeah, every now and again.
That's a good thing because I have a special dish to share that I know will bowl them over.
Johnny and Ollie have certainly earned themselves a lovely lunch. This is a beautiful salad of rice, hot smoked salmon and asparagus. It's light, it's nutritious and full of flavour. I've got 300 grams of rice and wild rice, and I've cooked it according to the packet. The wild rice is a grass, and it gives it extra texture.
6 finely sliced spring onions, a bunch of flat leaf parsley, and another of chopped dill create the perfect balance of flavours.
I love the brightness of the herbs. It's got to look good as well as taste good. And of course, be very nutritious.
So far, this is all about the herbs. But my mustard, honey and lemon dressing will give the dish a real boost.
Good to make it in a jug, because I'm not going to splash it all over myself.
Steadily pour in 180 ml of olive oil to emulsify into a thick dressing. Then add the zest of 1 lemon for extra bite.
Right, now the rice is well blended with all those herbs. I'm going to add the dressing, a little pepper and salt, and it will give it a real depth of flavour.
Pop the rice into the fridge to absorb all that gorgeous dressing. Then it's onto the asparagus.
You don't want all that tough old stalk there, so you just snap these off.
If the spears are thick, cut them in half lengthways. But these young asparagus look the perfect size.
I'm going to take these, make all the heads level there like little soldiers, and then shred up the ends. So people will get perhaps little short pieces of nice tender asparagus, or they might get the end. Just a little salt in there like that.
Only boil the asparagus for 3 minutes. I don't want them to be soggy.
While that's doing, I'm going to cut the eggs up. I've soft-boiled the eggs for about 6 minutes. That's just perfect. Gosh, they've got bright yellow yolks. That means that the hens have been beautifully fed.
Eggs are ready, and so is the asparagus. Run them immediately under cold water. It will stop the cooking and keep them green.
There we are.
And now for the final ingredient, hot smoked salmon.
It comes already prepared, and I'm just going to flake that up, and you'll be surprised when you actually break it up. It's a lovely pale pink. Normally, salmon is smoked raw, always has been.
This salmon has been salted first, then smoked at 50 degrees rather than the normal 25. All that's left is to bring these wonderful ingredients together.
So often a rice salad is absolutely boring because there aren't enough exciting things in it. And I'm not sort of doing a pattern or anything, I'm doing it fairly informally. So where's there a gap? Just there. There we are.
And top it off with that hot smoked salmon.
I do like to keep these flavours separate. And I'm not going to toss it or anything because that will spoil the appeal. That's it. Just a tiny sprinkling of pepper over the top. That really does look tempting, doesn't it? Just these gentle colours. Now, when it comes to the rice, that's bold flavours, beautifully seasoned. And the salmon tastes soft and beautiful. Not only is it very, very healthy and nutritious, I think that it's something that maybe Ollie and Johnny haven't had before. That should certainly set them up for a win. Fingers crossed. I hope you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, I love salmon. Not the best chef, but I think I can cook salmon, so that's one of my most popular dishes back home.
So you cook for yourselves?
Sometimes. I keep it as basic as I can. Johnny puts on a good barbecue like he did the other night, so if he's doing that, then I'm pretty happy.
You do a barbecue?
Yeah, I do enjoy a good barbecue, yeah.
So come on, let's be hearing what you think about this then.
This is lovely. Couldn't be happier.
If I tried to do this, I'd get it very, very wrong.
Not if you followed my recipe.
Well, it's a very good point you make. I'll have to get that off you after this.
I'll send the boys my recipe, with pleasure, of course. But let's see if it's going to give them the boost they'll need on the pitch.
Look at that!
That's about as far as yours.
No, it isn't. That was amazing. I love the sound, the willow on the ball.
One of the little sounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's,
That
pretty
was
sweet.
amazing.
Thanks ever so much.
Whether you're batting for England or just having a knockabout in the garden, my next dish is perfect for a lazy Sunday in the sun.
Jumbo lentil spiced rolls, an alternative to sausage rolls. Great to eat outside, perfect to put in a lunchbox, take on a picnic, hold them in the hand and enjoy them.
The key ingredient of this dish are the puy lentils, which I simmered until tender, then drained.
So, to add great flavour to them, first of all, I've got some soft goat's cheese here. Sun-dried tomatoes, I've chopped them up a bit. Just a little bit of oil there, that's all better.
Then it's in with freshly chopped mint and some grated mature cheddar before I spice things up with cumin.
I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. Don't expect it to be strong, it's sort of mellow and warming.
The moisture from the soft and creamy goat's cheese will help to bind everything together.
It's just a little pepper and salt.
And that's it. All we need is half a sheet of ready rolled puff pastry.
So I'm going to put half the lentil mixture in a row all the way down there. But first of all, I'm going to put some beaten egg so it sticks well.
Brush on both outer edges to get a really good seal.
That's it.
Now for that lightly spiced lentil filling.
It does look a bit like sausage mixture, doesn't it? I'm rather underdoing it at the moment. Let's see how we go on. I need a little bit more in the middle there. You can always add to it, you can't take away. That's perfect. I'm then going to pull this over the top. Carefully now, it's a warm day. It's not the easiest thing to do. Push that right over like that. Then I'm just going to press that down all along with the back of my hand, and because I don't want the filling to fall out. Then take a fork and just press along there. And that'll make sure that it holds together. That's it, all the way along.
Make a second roll and brush them with a little beaten egg to give a lovely golden colour as it bakes. 25 minutes at 200 fan will do the trick.
I'm really pleased with those. I think they look quite incredible. Right, I'm going to cut them into 3. Oh, it's going through beautifully crispy. I think I better have a taste. My teeth went through like butter. That is really, really tasty. I never thought that anything could beat a sausage roll, but these lentil rolls really are pretty close.
In the world of competitive sport, good food can give the players an edge. At Edgbaston, head chef Scott Marini is the man in charge. He keeps the players well fed, along with the thousands of fans.
It's a hive of industry here.
Well, as you can see, we're in full flow, getting ready for the test match. Here at Edgbaston, we have 11 kitchens.
11 kitchens? Well, how many are you catering for?
Major match day, we're looking at over 2,000 covers.
Oh, the mind boggles.
The kitchen is abuzz with activity. I'm keen to see what's on the menu for the England team and their guest, India.
What we're going to do with this pour...
The butternut squash steaks, I'm going to char grill, and I'm going to do like with the onions and the rest of the butternut squash. I'm going to do the butter bean cassoulet and infuse it all together.
I love butter bean cassoulet.
Very delicious and pretty healthy too.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah, well, that's for the players, so only the best.
It's great to see that the teams are so well looked after. That cassoulet sounds scrumptious.
Finished the days where we used to do cakes and sandwiches for afternoon tea.
So, in fact, you work closely with a nutritionist to get the right food for the right team.
Yes, correct. So make sure that everybody's happy and they are eating the correct foods at the correct times to get the best results when they're playing cricket.
The players may want healthy options, but thankfully Scott also caters for fans who still like a treat between innings.
So we're in the pastry area right now, and we've got some nice pineapple and ginger cake if you'd like to try a piece.
Oh, yes, that sounds right up my street.
There we go, Mary.
Oh, it's sort of a little bit like a pineapple upside-down cake, but it's got the moisture of a carrot cake. I don't know if I can open my mouth like that, but I'll have a jolly good go. That's a bit of all right, isn't it? It's not too sweet.
No.
And I absolutely love it.
Glad you enjoyed it. Really, really nice. And it's one of my favourites too.
Like Scott and his chefs, I think a rich, warming cassoulet is a wonderful dish to serve after a day playing sport, or simply to satisfy hungry teenagers.
Chip Chip Cassoulet. Why that name? It's got chipolatas in, and it's got chipotle, if I'm saying that correctly, which is a hot paste from chilies. Looks a bit like tomato paste, but it's, I promise you, pretty hot.
Fry off 12 chipolata sausages in some sunflower oil.
Immediately that they touch the pan, they'll begin to stick, so just move them like that and keep turning them. I think chipolatas are great because you get a lot of crispy outside.
Keep moving them. The more colour they take on, the more flavour.
Beautifully brown.
Oh, I could eat one of those right now, so tempting.
Now, straight away, I'm going to put 2 onions that I've sliced up in there. Then 1 pepper, which I've de-seeded. And then some garlic.
Cook down for a few minutes to soften. The moisture released will help lift that caramelised sausage from the bottom of the pan.
And now I'm going to add some more flavouring. First of all, the paprika. 2 teaspoons, that's to give colour, and it's not a very strong flavour. It has that smokiness.
Then it's in with a teaspoon of that smoky chipotle paste and a tablespoon of tomato puree.
Now, there really is a waft of smokiness coming up. It's almost as though I've been barbecuing, but here I am in the kitchen.
Time for the liquids.
The stock, first of all, that's 200 ml. And about 100 ml of white wine.
The alcohol will cook off, but the same quantity of stock could be used instead.
That's it. Then I'm going to add the baked beans.
Always a favourite with children, and extra flavour from that tomatoey sauce.
There you are. The beans make it a cassoulet.
Season with a little pepper and salt, then back in with those lovely brown sausages.
So I'm going to simmer that for 25 minutes with the lid on because I want the onion and the pepper to be tender.
As the cassoulet simmers away, all those sweet, smoky flavours are coming together as one.
Oh, the first thing that hits you is that lovely smoky aroma.
Finally, add 275 grams of fresh cherry tomatoes to that delicious smoky sauce.
Just push them down into the juices, and it'll only take a few moments till they've softened. A cassoulet is great for teenagers. They eat for Britain. It fills them up, it's colourful, it's inviting, and they'll love it.
To help satisfy those big sporting appetites, what's better than a baked potato?
There we are. That'll help fill them up. Just going to check that they're done. Perfect. That looks amazing. Really filling, and what I like is the extra smoky sauce that will go so well with those potatoes. You can spoon it over and it'll make a complete meal.
Birmingham loves its cricket. Clubs, schools and local teams are busy training up the next generation, ready to score a century for their country.
Good shot.
Daisy, you will be gentle with me, won't you?
Yeah.
I've stepped into the crease at a local primary school.
Good shot.
Well, that was encouraging. Well, I'm going out while I'm winning. You were a very good little bowler. Do you like playing cricket?
Yeah.
My best batting days could be behind me, but head teacher Paul Sansom is making sure these players have a bright future.
We've been playing cricket here for at least 15 years. Okay, the children love it. Still play a bit of football, but cricket seems to be really growing in popularity.
You can't take your eye off the ball, can you?
Here are our county cricket players. This is Hannah and this is Isa.
And your brother and sister?
Yeah.
And what age group do you play?
I play for under 11s.
You should be very proud of that. And which group do you play for?
Warwickshire under 11s as well.
And do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's the best game ever.
And what's it like having your sister as well at the same time?
Sometimes it can be annoying, but it's good practice.
Well, I think I'm better at cricket tees. Would you like to come and help me?
Yeah.
Thinking up snacks for children can sometimes be hard. But my recipe is perfect for young children and teenagers to make and share.
So these kebabs are great for a cricket tea. I've got a skewer with a nice point. This is mango going right through the middle there. If you don't put it through the middle, it'll drop off. Then a strawberry.
Okay.
Then pineapple. Right through the middle, strawberry. I've cut some of them in half. And then pineapple. And that was simple. Have you made kebabs before?
Yeah, the meat ones, not these ones.
That's perfect. That's it, put them over there. Pile them up. But it's quick to make, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this the sort of thing you would like to have once you've done cricket all day?
Yes, nice.
There's more to come, a lovely sauce to dip them in.
This is yoghurt, and I'm going to add lemon curd. That's straight out of a jar. It's deliciously lemony. That's it. A little fresh mint. You have mint in a lot of cooking, and I love it. And then I'm just going to mix it enough so it's a little bit streaky. So it's not difficult at all. That's it. You couldn't have simpler ingredients. And it goes so well with the kebabs. Just have a dip in and see what you think. What do you think?
It's very nice. It's got the good taste.
That's good. And what do you think?
You can really taste the lemon and the mint a lot. It's very nice.
So I'll drizzle it on before we get the team in. Just a little over the top like that. Delicious. Here they are. Lovely. Can you stretch over? Yeah. Right. Shall I pass you one?
Thank
there
you.
we are. And we want to know what you think about them. There we are.
Thank you.
Fresh fruit drizzled with rich lemon yoghurt. Tasty and simple. Don't just take my word for it.
I think they're really delicious. I liked the strawberries and the pineapple on it. It tasted very nice.
The way you combined all the fruit with the lemons made it scrumptious.
Who would like to go home and make them?
Me.
Right. Well, I hope you do, because it's very good for us.
My family and I have always loved cricket, especially because it gave us time to share some wonderful food between innings.
What a treat meeting the England cricket team and the children that are the future of the sport.
And given the right nutritious boost, that future looks very bright indeed. Next time, I'm going back to Britain's blustery Jurassic Coast.
Saving the hat.
Exploring the world of hand diving.
I'll see you later.
Plus an exciting new ingredient.
This is really tasty.
And some delicious food of my own.
Yummy.
Cooking is really at its best when it's shared. Wow. So I'm off to visit inspiring communities across the country to see how food brings them together.
That's a bit of all right.
Exploring some exciting places.
It's extraordinary. It's huge, isn't it?
Look at that. Beautiful.
I can think of no better place to be.
While sharing mouth-watering recipes of my own.
That looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it. I'm at the ready.
So let's get to it. Scotland will always hold a special place in my heart. Not just for its breathtaking scenery, but also for the memories it conjures up.
I'm in Scotland's beautiful city of Edinburgh. My mother was a Scot, and I feel really at home here.
This weekend, the city is simmering with excitement. Thousands of people are here to share one particular passion. Running in the annual Edinburgh Marathon.
I'm all giddy.
You're all giddy?
I'm very giddy.
How long do you think you're going to take to do it? What's your challenge?
Hopefully between 5 and 5.5 hours.
Gracious me.
That's a long run. I wonder what they've eaten to give themselves the energy to make it across the finishing line.
What do you have for breakfast?
Porridge. Lots of porridge.
Hi, how are you?
Are you excited?
Nervous, but excited.
So have you had a good breakfast to set you on your way?
Porridge, yeah.
Everybody's had porridge.
It's the only way. When in Scotland.
Thankfully, I'm not running today. But what an incredible atmosphere, filled with characters who are raring to go.
Gracious Batman and Robin.
Good morning, gracious Berry Berry.
Lovely to see you. What difference does it make when the crowds shout at you? Will that encourage you?
Absolutely, yeah. It gives you the energy then to keep going. I know the children have always got the big smiles on their faces because they're like, it's Batman and Robin.
Right. What did you have for breakfast?
Porridge.
But if you're not a fan of the oat and are looking for something to have on the go, I have a very hearty alternative to put a spring in your step. Eggy bread was very much part of my childhood. I make it for my grandchildren and they love it. They've got very good appetites. I've lightly buttered the bread. Now I'm going to spread some chutney or pickle. I've got pickle here. I love pickle chutneys in anything. Goes so well with cheese and ham. Top with the avocado and 2 slices of ham. Then I need cheese to hold it all together. A grated, well-flavoured cheddar cheese. Right, there's my layers, and pop that on top. And you really have to press it down, otherwise it'll fall apart. Now to turn this into magical eggy bread by dipping the whole thing in egg. And you just want to beat them as if you think of making scrambled egg or omelette. In it goes. Something flat that will just take it. So in the sandwiches go like that. You just take 2, that's it. Let it run. Now you can see that's really well covered with the egg. Then the other one all ready to be absorbed. How quick was that? Just heat up some butter and sunflower oil to fry them in. If I just use butter, it's likely to burn. Now just leave that to sizzle and bubble. The cheese will melt, the ham will become hot, and I want it to be golden brown. They should only need 3 or 4 minutes on each side. Fried bread is a real treat. It's one of the things that if my husband has been very good, and I've got some bacon fat, to have a piece of bread fried in bacon fat, there's not much better than that. Right, I'm going to see if that's ready. That is perfect.
And easily, they're quite easy to just flick over like that. There we are. I'm good at flipping pancakes too. Crisp.
Don't they look fabulous? A delicious alternative to get you going.
Oh, I love the fact that they're rich golden brown. There they are. And these wait for no one, so I'm going to eat it straight away. It really is cram jam full of flavour. I can tell you that's going down a treat. It's magical. It's so good.
Having stretched and warmed up, the moment these runners have been waiting for is upon us. I'm so honoured to have been asked to start this year's marathon. Quite a nerve-wracking experience.
Well, good luck, all of you. You look amazing. You've done your training. All you've got to do is complete the course. And I know that you can do it. Good luck, everybody.
I hope I've G'd these runners up as they make their way to the start line.
I'm at the ready.
Just one more job left on my part. And they're off.
Fly! Great luck! Go!
Over 30,000 eager souls from all over the world have come to challenge themselves on this marathon course around the Scottish capital. Imagine how hungry these hordes will be when they finish. My next recipe is a real crowd pleaser, and you don't have to run a marathon to deserve it.
This is a rich short crust pastry and it's got added parmesan in. It makes it easy to handle and also it has a wonderful flavour.
The pastry should be about 5mm thick, so it easily lines the sides and base of the tin.
Just trimming that extra bit of pastry off, it'll give a nice finish. And then I'm just going to push the pastry in so it's proud with the edge all the way along. Next, I'm going to prick the base with a fork. Why? Because when it gets in the oven and I'm baking it blind, it would rise up if I hadn't pricked holes and you'd have a sort of bumpy surface.
While the pastry chills in the fridge, slow roast a kilogram of sliced tomatoes. This is better than putting them straight onto the pastry, as they would make it soggy.
I'm going to add garlic. I've peeled it and then cut it into slices. And then just put those in the gap, and that wonderful flavour will go into the tomatoes. Then just drizzle the oil over the top. It's bound to be good, isn't it?
Season well and pop in the oven at 180 degrees fan along with the pastry to bake blind for about 20 minutes. Then remove the beans and return to the oven for another 10 minutes or so. Once ready, the pastry will be golden and the tomatoes gently roasted and full of flavour. Now comes the fun bit, putting it all together.
Because I want a really intense flavour of tomatoes, I've got some sun-dried tomato paste here. I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons. Spread that all across the base.
Then carefully arrange the roasted tomatoes on top of it.
It's holding together well. These have nicely shriveled. That means it's driven off any moisture, but they've kept their shape. That's why it was so important to leave the skins on the tomatoes. Also, one less job no skinning. So put that in like that. Actually, once they're roasted like this, you can move them in so they fit like a jigsaw together. Don't forget the roasted cloves of garlic. If you've any leftover tomatoes, they can just be popped in salad, or you could quickly eat them yourself on the side. Back into the oven it goes at 180 fan for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just enough time to make that delicious pistou topping. It's similar to pesto, but without the pine nuts. I've chopped the garlic, added the mint, basil, a splash of lemon juice and a good glug of olive oil. And just whiz it. That's done. That just smells of fresh herbs and garlic. And doesn't it look great? Absolutely vibrantly green. There's just one last layer to add to the tart. Oh, it's knocking me back. Wonderful garlicky smell. So that's just heated through. Then I'm going to put some brie on top. It could be camembert, any of the soft cheeses, and I'm just going to pop that back in the oven to melt. So just put that over haphazardly. A very good way of using up cheese when you've had a mixed cheese board and you have a little bit left. So back in the oven, same temperature until that cheese just begins to melt. Don't go anywhere, as it only needs about 3 minutes to melt. Just looks so tempting. With the pistou drizzled over the top, I can think of nothing more rewarding. Each slice that you take out of this tart looks like a picture. You don't have to do an extra garnish or a sprinkling of parsley. It is just perfect. Basil and mint go really well together. You've got the crispest of pastry with that parmesan in, and then you've got the sun-dried tomato paste, the intense flavour, then the roasted tomatoes, then the pistou. Wonderful. I'm not sure it's the dish for training, but it's certainly the perfect reward after a huge effort.
Only another 25 miles!
Look at them all go, and still smiling.
Come on!
What an admirable group of people. While they forge on, I'm going to break away to visit one of my other favourite spots in Edinburgh, the Royal Botanical Gardens. Just 1 mile north of the city centre, these 70 acres are used by so many. One of the most passionate is local school Pilrig Park.
Remember, we just squeeze the pot a little bit and then we bring them out.
Hello, and so what are you up to?
We're using a pea frame to grow peas.
They're going to trail up beautifully. Learning how to grow our food is so important. These students come here once a week to take part in the Botanical Gardens Plot to Plate project.
We've actually been gardening with children for over 25 years. Food growing is such a brilliant thing to bring people together. It's a great thing for health.
I can see the joy on these young people's faces because they're out of their routine. They come here and look forward to it.
I think there's just something great about being outside and just being able to get stuck in and have a go, grow your own things, get the joy of them growing. We have a great time, actually. It's one of the highlights of my week working with Pilrig Park School.
I bet it's the highlight of their week, and they look forward to next week when they come back again.
Yeah.
It's clear that they are inspired by this wonderful garden. Feeding this group won't be a problem. I have the perfect dish that has peas at its core and will keep them all happy. Here's is a spaghetti dish that's great for a crowd, and you can do it and be on the table in 15 minutes. It is my go-to recipe of the moment.
A food processor makes light work of this sauce. Throw in 125 grams of peas with 2 cloves of garlic.
Then I've got the cashew nuts, they're unsalted. In they go.
Cashews will add such a lovely creaminess.
Fairly finely grated Parmesan cheese, that gives it a lovely flavour. There we are. And then a nice good-sized bunch of basil. And it's best really to give that a little chop. And I put the stalk in as well, because it's going in a processor.
Give it a blitz and slowly add 100 ml of olive oil, a little at a time.
It's the most gorgeous colour, and it took no time at all. So the spaghetti, I've cooked exactly as the instructions were on the packet, and that was 12 minutes. And I've drained it, but I've kept the water because I need a little bit of that water to maybe make it a little bit slacker.
All that's left is to mix in more peas with the sauce, cooked spaghetti, and a splash of the pasta water. Don't forget the salt and pepper. Smells delicious.
I can't wait to eat it.
And finally, the moment I've been waiting for.
Oh, that's heaven on a plate. I must get to those gardeners. Have it while it's very hot. I hope you're hungry.
Yeah!
Here we go.
I'm starving now.
It's pasta with peas and pesto.
Whoa, look at that. Who likes spaghetti?
Delicious.
Well, it's delicious. That's what I like to hear. Well, you enjoy.
Thank you, Mary Berry.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope that you're going to make this when your peas have grown up those sticks and you'll be picking them, shelling them, and putting them in this dish.
Thank you.
Do you think we'll have a go?
Yeah!
I know, Matt, yeah.
I'm quite good at that, twisting it round.
What an experience. It takes me back to my own childhood with my mother. She loved the garden and was a remarkable cook. She taught me such a lot. My mother grew up in a family where nothing was wasted. Leftovers from Sunday roast were turned into a weekday wonder. And this next wonderful recipe is just perfect for feeding the family today. It reminds me of all the wonderful casseroles that I used to have when I was young and Mum was the cook. Start by browning off 1.2 kilos of diced lamb neck fillet. I brown the meat because it seals in the flavour and also adds to the colour of the casserole. Right, I'm now going to lift that out. Once seared, put the lamb to one side. In the same pan, add a drop more oil and the sliced shallots, leeks and carrots. In goes the garlic. Now that's all the vegetables in there, and they just need to be tossed well together. They don't need to be browned. I find to get a really smooth result, I'm going to mix the flour with wine and stock and then put it in. It works for me. So I've got 55 grams of flour. I'm then going to add the wine. I don't use expensive wine unless there's expensive wine left, but I promise you, at our house, it's never left. And I'm just going to blend it as you would do with old-fashioned custard. Carefully pour this sauce in with the vegetables. So I'm going to give that a good stir and bring it to the boil. And that sediment that's at the bottom, that'll all add to the flavour of my casserole. In goes some soy, Worcester sauce and mint sauce. This is all to add to the flavour.
and to the colour too. And lastly, 2 tablespoons of red currant jelly. So give that a really good stir. And at the end, before I serve it, I will taste it again and maybe add a little bit more of one of those sauces. Don't be worried that it looks a bit too thick at this stage. Once those vegetables have simmered down and the juices have come out of the meat, it will be thinner.
Season well and return the lamb to the pan to finish cooking in that rich sauce.
All I've got to do now is to bring it to the boil and then put it into the oven at 140 fan for about an hour and a half. It might take longer. Wait until the lamb is beautifully tender. And the last addition to my minted lamb casserole, chestnut mushrooms. I'm adding them at the end because I want to keep a lovely texture. If I put them in the casserole for 1.5 hours, they'll become very soft. I want a little bit of bite still in them. Give them a toss in that butter. They should be a gorgeous golden brown. There they are. And I'm going to add them to the casserole when it comes out of the oven.
After 90 minutes, the slow-cooked stew will be glorious. Stir in the mushrooms and it's ready to share.
I know it's going to be hot, but I do want to taste. You must taste this, it's good.
And I think my mother would have approved. Back at the marathon, I'm overwhelmed. Where do they find the energy? Glad to see Batman and Robin are still powering through.
Come on, you can do it!
Just watching them makes me hungry. I have a fabulous treat for them when they cross the finishing line. It's a very indulgent recipe with a very apt name for this occasion.
And now for a little bit of sheer luxury. Honeycomb Rocky Road. And it is absolutely beautiful and a lovely reward for our runners. I've got milk chocolate here and it's 400 grams just broken into pieces.
Add 225 grams of butter and 6 tablespoonfuls of golden syrup into a bowl over simmering water.
Oh, so good. Very naughty, but once in a while we need a treat.
Stir slowly until the chocolate and butter are melted.
Oh, it's lovely. Gosh, this looks so tempting. And I'm not dipping my finger in or licking a spoon. I'm doing what I should do, stirring until it's all melted.
This combination of butter, milk chocolate and golden syrup is perfectly balanced.
And it looks lovely. Beautifully runny, in it goes. Look at that. I don't want to waste any, so let's scrape the last little bit out. And in goes the digestive biscuits, 500 grams. And I've broken them into little pieces because you want a bit of texture and you want to see that biscuit.
Just look at how easily that rich chocolate coats the crunchy biscuits. Absolute heaven.
Then we're going to put that straight in the tin. Push it into the corners.
It can be as higgledy-piggledy as you like, except for this one trick.
If you don't level it off, what happens is it breaks when you actually cut it up when it's set.
If you thought that was enough chocolate, then leave now. I'm dividing 4 honeycomb bars into thick slices.
You might say this is gilding the lily, but I don't think so. It's just making it the very, very best Rocky Road. So just put this in, fairly sort of higgledy-piggledy over the top. That's it. How about that for a cook's perk? That was my reward.
Take 75 grams of plain melted chocolate and use it as the crowning glory.
I love this bit. It's always nice to think you've done the job and you've just got to make it look magnificent.
That will firm up in the fridge in about 2 hours. But of course, I can't wait that long.
Pinch a bit from the corner so that nobody notices. That's what I call a touch of luxury. I reckon that our runners are going to really enjoy this and they'll be queuing up for it.
The runners have finally come to the end of their rocky road, but they have another waiting for them in the wings. And I've been joined by someone very special to me.
Would you ever have a go with Abby?
I have done a half marathon with Dad, but I think a whole marathon will be a whole different ballgame.
My granddaughter Abby is a student at Edinburgh University.
You take the rocky road?
Yes.
And is here to help share out my rocky road.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Rocky Road. What do you think of it?
Really good.
Tell us.
Thank you very much. Mary Berry's Rocky Road. Wow, amazing.
Would you like a Rocky Road?
I'd love it.
There they are.
It's an inspiration talking to some of the people who've completed this extraordinary task.
Oh, fantastic.
Try some Rocky Road.
This is amazing.
Do you think you need a treat now?
Yes.
It is delicious.
So how did you do, Mum?
Good. I got a PB for me.
Oh.
12.
Whoa, that's so good.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
So I've raised nearly £2,000.
£2,000. That's amazing. Well, they seem to enjoy all that.
Yeah, they loved it.
It's a great reward after all that work.
I'm so glad I returned to Edinburgh, and what an adventure I've had.
I've loved my time in this city with its warm and welcoming people, even if it's a little bit chilly. Scotland is always close to my heart, and I will certainly be back.